So today we're doing a full gaming setup tour, a full room tour of the TechBlock HQ right here. We're going to be going over all the products we have in here, whether or not I recommend them, whether or not you should avoid some of them, or one of them in particular that's been sent to me recently. I've tested it out, and to be honest, I don't think it's one that you should buy. But we'll get to that later on in the video. For now, I think we should kick it off with probably the main attraction here, which is more than likely this insane triple monitor desk setup with absolutely exquisite cable management. Cables don't exist here, apart from that one that you can clearly see. In terms of the peripherals we're using, we have a full-size Razer Black Widow version 4 Pro. The whole setup is sort of rocking like a black and white theme. So yeah, we got some custom keycaps on here, as well as this very nice feature. This is a fingerprint scanner. So if I go ahead and lock my PC and put my finger on the scanner, hey, there we go. It logs you in. And you can also use that fingerprint scanner to unlock your password manager, sort of what you have on your phone. If you're on iPhone, you got Face ID. If you've got like an unused USB port at the back of your keyboard, which I had no idea what to do with mine, so I'll put a fingerprint scanner there, and it's in a pretty convenient place, so you don't have to reach across, say, the front of your PC case to scan your finger or something. No, it's right there on your keyboard. As for the mouse we're using, this is of course a Razer Basilisk version 3 Pro paired with the Razer wireless charging puck, allowing me to put it onto the Razer Mouse Dock Pro to of course charge the mouse wirelessly. I pretty much just put it on charge every single night when I'm done using my PC. I pick it up in the morning, it's fully charged, ready to take on the day. Other than that though, the mouse mat, this is from Height, it's not from Razer. You know, I think Height have actually one-upped Razer here. Whoa, that's an interesting unboxing experience, okay. This is the Height canvas mouse mat. It's got full RGB lighting, like pretty much everything in this whole room does. Everything has RGB lighting, especially that. This is like in a league of its own in terms of brightness, compared to the Razer Strata Chroma at least. I don't know about any other competitors out there, but this is very, very bright. Very good RGB. In terms of the other bits and pieces we have here, we've got the Mouse Dock Pro, we have an Aura Ring charger, Lemetric Time smart clock that is also very overpriced for what it is, but it's a very unique product, and when paired with like a monitor like this, I think it looks pretty nice, dude. We have a Razer Siren V2 Pro, I believe, paired with a Rode PSA-1 mic arm. And down here we have a headset. If I'm playing games, yeah, I'll use the headset, but 99% of the time, I'm using this. This is the Razer Leviathan V2 Pro, massive soundbar. It does actually have all sorts of fancy AI features to like track your face. I've actually tested it out by putting it like where it's meant to go, which is underneath your monitor, and it is wild. It genuinely felt like I was using headphones, but it was coming from a soundbar. It's the weirdest experience, but in a good way. Despite that pretty cool feature, I have unfortunately put the soundbar behind my monitor for the sake of like not having like a massive soundbar on display. I think it just looks clean with the soundbar hidden away. Speaking of the monitors though, we have two kinds of monitors here. They're both 27-inch monitors, 1440p, 165Hz. However, you can probably tell by the viewing angles being not so optimal. This is a VA panel, so is that, whereas the middle monitor is from Razer. This is their original Razer Raptor 144Hz display with of course a 27-inch IPS panel, but the actual specs of these monitors nowadays at least isn't anything too fancy, with there being literally 240Hz OLED displays that are running at 1440p being packed into laptops, and probably even fancier ones now. This isn't even like a current gen Razer blade, but nevertheless, the OLED display on here has pretty much ruined every other display out there for me because of how nice OLED looks. The deep blacks, the saturation of colors is just a different experience looking at a picture on an OLED versus any one of these monitors. But as you probably noticed as well, all the monitors here, apart from the middle one, are on monitor arms. They're nothing fancy, just some cheap ones I got on Amazon. As for the table that I'm using, this is all custom built. It uses an IKEA Linmon corner piece, another IKEA Linmon piece there with some X-shaped table legs that I picked up on Amazon as well. We have, of course, this crazy PC with an RTX 4080 from Asus, Intel Core i9-13900K. We have 80 gigabytes of RAM, all packed into the Height Y60 PC case. Looking absolutely crazy with the RGB lighting. And here we have an ADATA SSD that I actually use for all my YouTube videos. All my video projects get stored on this SSD, so I can edit everything off of this by plugging it into my PC when I'm here at home editing, or if I'm away and working on my second channel or the Scirocco build that we've put a big turbo on, I'm filming everything, I'm editing it all on my laptop using the same SSD. Taking a look behind the main PC build though, in terms of the cable management, nicely cable tied using my very own cable ties. We got the Go V Glide LED lighting kit behind here, also strategically placed wire, so that can just sort of be hidden behind the PC case, run down into there. We have an 8-socket power extension strip underneath the table paired with dozens of J channels, all color coordinated, so the white ones are for data cables and the black ones are for power cables. It's kind of like organized chaos underneath this table in terms of the cable management, because there is a lot going on here. We even have an SD card reader that doubles as all sorts of other things, but personally I just use this thing to put my SD cards into. And before I forget to mention, the LED light strip we have behind the table here is also from GoV, and it's their M1 LED light strip. Hands down, probably the highest quality, just out of the box, all set up for you LED light strips that you can buy. And it even comes with like a controller that I have stuck beneath the table, but as you can imagine, I never ever use this controller underneath the table because it's just in a ridiculous location. Whereas these GoV wire lights that I have in the corner of the room here actually have the controller in a normal location, just on the wall that's, you know, easy to reach and easy to actually use it. As for the laptop setup though, normally if I'm traveling and filming stuff with the second channel, this laptop is coming with me. It's got an i9-12900H CPU, RTX 3070 Ti, and 16 gigs of RAM. However, you know what I mentioned, the not so great product that I don't think I would recommend people buy, at least not for the price point. I'm sure you've probably seen these on the market if you own a laptop, because this thing gets very, very warm. So I thought I'm gonna try one of these out. There are some good things I can say about it. It does actually help thermals, if that's the main thing you're concerned about. It does technically do a good job. Maybe not the best job in the world, but it does work. The RGB lighting, you can see hot spots and everything. That's not very well implemented. And this is with the fan on 300 RPM. You can probably hear it through my microphone right now. It is so loud. It is unbelievable for a product that costs this much. And this is on the slowest speed. If I crank this thing up, it's unbelievable. 2800 RPM. It's moving a bit of there, but it's just crazy how loud this thing is. So if you don't value your eardrums and you just want better laptop cooling, then yep, would recommend it. I'll leave it linked in the description in case you're interested, but just a warning, it is very loud and the RGB is not up to my standards, basically. Apart from that though, a little mention, we have a 3D printer here from Creality. This is their K1 Max. I've got a lot to learn. I've sort of just been messing around with it, learning the basics. But so far, so good. Let me know in the comments down below if you guys also have a printer. Perhaps you have the same one as me. As for this corner of the room, we just have a whole bunch of storage, a whole bunch of boxes, as well as the ever so important charging station. Just a whole bunch of USB-C cables and stuff to keep all my equipment charged. And it's also worth mentioning this beast right here. I have made a dedicated video featuring it. This is basically like a really powerful power brick. But instead of just having USBs to charge your phone with, you can literally power anything you wish. And this thing has just proven to be way more useful than I ever thought it would be, because we have like a home gym right now that's sort of still being built, but we don't actually have electricity running into the home gym. So I bring this thing with me whenever I go in there, especially at nighttime, and I can just power all the lights. So it doesn't actually matter too much that we don't have electricity, because you can bring your own using this, man. And speaking of powering things, we have this dial right here that is paired up to 4 Philips Hue smart plugs. And I'd say it's one of the more interesting sort of smart home devices that I've come across in recent time. We just basically have control over every single LED light in the room. It's genuinely like a really cool system, and if you can set it up with like a whole bunch of smart plugs, it works really well. Like it never fails, it always works. Hopefully today's video has given you guys some inspiration for your own room, your own gaming setup. Perhaps you want to copy what I've got here, feel free to do so. Everything in this video is of course linked down below in the description. It'll be a lot of products, I imagine. But there's actually something else that I've not spoken about that I think makes a huge difference to any PC setup, whether it's a laptop or a desktop. I've put together a list of my favorite apps that I think more people need to know about. So to learn how to optimize your own PC without having to spend any money on a brand new setup, watch this video next, because from the feedback I've heard so far, most of you have actually found it super helpful.